Do you use any creative testing framework? Recently, I heard about creative with and def testing. Yeah, that's actually a really great question. So first off, a lot of these things are just intentionally made to confuse people into, getting you to buy their course or their program or, something like that. So there's a lot of different frameworks out there, and I'd say most of them are just to confuse you to where you buy their program. The other half of them are actually pretty good frameworks, essentially, for how you think about creative testing. Now, there's two parts here. There's creative testing, and there's the actual aspect of like how you set up in the ads manager. And then there's the other aspect, which is actually going ahead and how you develop the messaging and stuff that you're thinking about. So I'll break these apart into two key things. So for us, for a creative testing framework, we get a lot of our methodology of how we approach structuring messaging from the book Breakthrough Advertising. I've been pretty open about that book over the last 5-6 years on this YouTube channel of how we use it, and it consistently helps us develop really good messaging for our clients and stuff. As far as the actual testing framework of putting it inside of the ad account, I like this example here of with and def testing because it kind of does resemble a little bit of like what we technically do. With is basically all the different creative formats you have in your account, also known as creative diversity in that sense. So you have one core message and you spread it across statics, videos, different types of videos, different types of statics there. And that's more of with. Then there's depth testing, which essentially is like going deeper within a core message. The more you advertise a core message and the more you continue to keep creating content, just think about the types of videos I make now compared to the videos I made back in like 2019. I can talk about things to a deeper level because I've been consistently keep putting focus and intention on that one particular message right there. And that's more of the depth aspect of just getting better, getting smarter with it, and being able to communicate it in a more effective way compared to how you used to be able to communicate it a few months ago, technically. So for us, we're kind of similar here, where with is more of like our creative styles, our creative variations and stuff, which is, all right, we have a winning messaging and let's go and create more variations of that creative. So if it's a UGC video, we're going to go do a B-roll video with just music. We're going to go do an animation variation of that video. We're going to go turn it now into a long form primary text with like a static ad, a native ad. I'm going to go turn into all these different creative types to be able to resonate with more people. Now, in that sense, let's say I'm testing a totally new messaging. I may pick 2 or 3 different creative types or creative styles to technically test that particular, messaging. And then whether that works, I'll continue to scale it up and start doing variations. If not, then cool, I'm gonna scrap it and move on to the next one. So I'd say the other part too is the 80-20 rule, which is like doubling down on our winning core messaging and what's currently working right now, and doing more iterations and variations of what works, while leaving 20% of the time and 20% of the creatives we test, which is totally new desires, awareness stages, avatars, just very new things, new messaging we can test with our product right there. So that's usually the framework we follow when doing creative testing. And then obviously we're just tossing all this in a CBO campaign, let it gain spin versus not gain spin. And that's how, really like when it gains spin, it's basically has to gain enough spin to drop cost per acquisition so it can keep scaling. And if it doesn't take overall spin, we'll leave it on unless it's hurting performance there. So yeah, that's pretty much how we're approaching it. Very simple, very easy creative testing way.